Well, hi Richard, welcome to Buenos Aires. Well, I have the opportunity to meet you first in 2006. I remember you very focused on all the technologies issues and tried to follow all the future trends. And right now you are the CEO of the company. Wow.
Yeah, life is a change, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
What did you feel about that situation to work with the engineers and right now work with all the company?
Right. So probably the good thing for me was that I was present in company from almost the very beginning. So at those times the company was really small, so it was not like very divided, like these are the developers, this is technical support, marketing and so on. Mm-hmm. Of course, some people were more focused on certain areas, but everybody was ready to do anything what was necessary. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I came to a big company. I was just focused on programming. So that was a good part, that I knew many things. I was being also a co-owner of the company. I was involved in many of the things, also including sales and whatever, what was happening in the company, especially that was related to some strategy and things like that. And of course, ESET was always based on, based its success in technology, in some bright ideas that we were able to implement into our product. So probably that was a reason why so far the trend was that the manager that was leading the technology division later became a CEO of the company. So this is the case for me right now.
And what are your feelings about the situation of the market right now? Because this is a company that you are in the middle of the battle with a lot of major IT security vendors. You survived to do that. You also do business in a lot of countries right now, and so the complexity of the company is not the same.
Yes, definitely. Well, the situation is kind of interesting, right? Because we had the crisis that is probably not yet finished, or hard to say what will follow. And we see a lot of changes in the IT industry. So not so long ago it looked like everything is Windows and it will stay like that forever. Right now we see like not only new operating systems being more popular, but new types of devices, mobile devices, tablets and all these things are changing the landscape, the way the users are simply working or living, because all those social networks, right, Facebook and so on, it's really changing the life for everybody. So on one hand it's more complicated for us because we have to be all the time focused and follow the trends and think what we are going to do next, but at the same time it's a big opportunity because of course we were a small company that was growing up. First we were present in several markets, now we are present basically all around the world, but still we are not like the biggest company, and if the things were not changing it would be difficult to compete with the giants. Right now it's for some of the segments, like those, especially those mobile devices, everybody is more or less at the same starting position, so it's more opportunity for us as well.
Yes, this Android space, this new kind of, that the operating systems are different, and of course from the sales point, the IT industry is selling more devices from this kind of thing than the computer, so this is very important, the market, no?
Exactly. It seems that we see stagnation or even decline in the sales of those normal PCs. There are still sales for notebooks and so on is slowing down, but of course with mobile devices it's like sky is the limit, right? At the moment. So yes, we are following this and we are working on products for that, and we are even launching already some of the products.
The major technology pillars that you developed a lot of years ago, this Heuristics Approach, the importance of this approach is the same, so to figure out how the malware could be, the behavior of the programs to figure out if it is a malware or not, or we are seeing a new kind of approach right now.
I would say it's this kind of intelligent approach, let's call it in a more general way, is surely more important now, because we see so many different types of malware, different new variants appearing every day. Like we are saying that we see 200,000 new samples every day just coming to our lab. Other labs are receiving more samples. So it's really a huge number, and it cannot be like solved with some old school methods, like to release signatures for all of them. That wouldn't work. And if someone was trying to do that, would probably cause troubles, not only because the database would be huge, but the probability of false positives or any troubles is increasing. But at the same time, the research and development is not stopping. So we have some new tools or new opportunities which are pretty useful for that. So that especially is related to the fact that the users or everybody is now connected to internet, and so this communication can be both ways. So it's not just like we are releasing some updates to our users, but the users are able to provide very useful information to us, and this information is directly used to be more effective in fighting the threats.
It's important to have research laboratories in different parts of the world, so the culture of the Latin American people, US, Europe, is important to do some research on the field, or just is the best way is just to have the core in just one place like Slovakia, and just we do is enough.
Well, in the old days, and I mean like 15 years ago, it was important to be present in a particular region, because the world was far from so connected as it is now. So it was important to be in those places and collect local threads and watch the situation there. Right now, it's much more, this cyber security thing is pretty global. So it's, of course, we see certain threats typical for Russia or for China, which are because the local legislation, let's say, allows certain types of things which wouldn't be possible, let's say, in Western Europe or in US. But in general, we can say these threats are pretty global. So to answer your question, it probably would be possible just to have a research team in one place that would be connected to anywhere in the world, collecting information and so on. But the practical issue is that it's very difficult to find enough bright and talented people in one place. So Slovakia is a relatively small country. So we were, for years we were attracting the best people there, and now it's becoming more and more difficult. And so feeling that we need more brain power in company we really started to establish research labs all around the world, basically. First in Poland, of course, even here in Buenos Aires in Canada. We have in Moscow, a small team in Moscow, in Singapore. So it's not that we need to be present everywhere in the world. This is not the main point, but the logic is we are establishing the research labs in the places where we are able to find the qualified people.
Well, this is very important for the company. It's an asset.
Exactly. This is. It was always part of the strategy to base the success on the technological like advances or strength.
Well, also you are here because there are new launch of products. We need to talk. Well, I think you are working some time ago to have these products on the field. Well, I think we need to talk a little about that. So, how are the major differentiations or challenges that you think this new launch bring to the market?
Yes. So we main goal is to focus on the core technology. So our core technology is the technology that protects the users against threats, whatever threats. Of course, this is changing over time. It's not just viruses, but all the different types of threats that are existing today. Some of them are pretty like modern types, like those fake antiviruses, for example. It's a big problem right now. So this new version, the most important features are directly connected to ability to provide better protection, and it's an evolution. It's I don't want to say like version 5 is suddenly something completely different than our previous versions. We usually try to make the version of our products in such a way that it's possible to do continual evolution or improvement of the product. So whatever new threats appear, the products are able to update, upgrade on the fly to protect the users. But still, we should at least mention the technology that is currently, like the cloud term is so popular, so we are using it as well. We call it live grid, but it's basically a technology which to a certain extent we pioneered in the previous versions. It was called ThreatSense.net technology that is collecting the information from the users about threats they see, behavior of applications they are running and so on, and collecting this information to a central database and use this central database to identify automatically or semi-automatically the new threats and react very quickly to any new threats that are appearing. So it's kind of in the cloud technology that is helping so far used heuristic or generic technology we had we have in the current version. So this is one important feature. The other important feature is again we are using a term HIPS, which is a well-known term, a pretty generic term, but again it's extension to our existing technology. So we understood that there are certain types of threats that are trying to avoid detection with our current technology, and it's pretty complicated technically to explain, but this new feature is able to provide a new layer basically of protection. So it's watching what the running applications on the system, what behavior they have, and extract some certain kind of patterns from this behavior and match it to the database of malicious behavior we have. So
it's a database of behavior.
Yeah,
it's not a database of like a dictionary.
Yes.
Right.
And one cool feature that is part of this new HIPS feature is targeted against exploits, vulnerabilities, which are so popular in the last couple of years. So this feature is able to detect many of most of the exploits that are common in web browsers or PDF viewers and so on. So by this way we are trying to close one of the most common vector of becoming infected. Yeah.
Of the trends of the last 2, 3, 4 years, what are the threats that that you saw that you learned something of them? No, like I think on Flickr, something like that. There will be major new trends of threats that you really need to change the strategy to develop the products, not or to make some new approach or something like that. Really, it's the malware, but in a new kind of sense. I think Configure could be one of them, but I'm not really.
Yes, sure. There are some of those well-known threats, and of course, the most popular threat last time was the one that affected those nuclear plants, right?
Stuxnet.
Exactly.
Sí, yeah.
Stuxnet. So yes. So it's a good example to answer this question, because this is the way it goes these days. Like, it's in many cases these are targeted attacks. So they are meant for a particular, usually institution, like a private institution or state institution, and it's very difficult to prevent it, because those cyber criminals, they collect whatever information. Of course, Stuxnet right now it's believed that it was like created in Israel or in cooperation with the US. Of course, we don't have any official confirmation of that, but obviously they had a lot of interesting information, like on the way the Iranian power plants, or those what's the English name? You know, when you are enriching uranium, you use certain kind of device that's rotating.
For cooling.
It's not, you know,
Well, for heating.
It's more like for enriching, like to separate the uranium from the rest of the stuff that.
Yes. Well, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's a centrifuge. So what's?
Sí, well, cámara centrifugadora, digamos. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Sí.
So they were able, you know, this, and it's really funny and really interesting. Like this malware was able to distinguish Iranian such devices from the rest of the world, and then to do many funny things with them, like making them rotate too quickly and so on, to damage them, and really stuff like that. So. We probably can mention the attack against some of the like most important businesses in US, and the way to hack into the system was via attack against RSA. RSA, maybe you remember.
Yes, RSA,
RSA,
where all the mathematicians and the security experts are living.
It was another example of targeted attack. So they were able to get to the secret keys and simply to go through really advanced protections all those companies were using. And it's this is the way it works or goes today. Like many kind of attacks that are addressed against particular institution, and nothing is safe. What is connected to internet, anything can be found or exploited.
Yeah. From the point of view of the company, there are other offers in the market, Symantec, Kaspersky, McAfee. Well, what are your feelings? What are your key points that you need the channel partners understand? What are the focus that the company are trying to do to go deeper and deeper on the market?
Right. So our products were we have like the most important features or values we had with the products were always first stability. Let's call it stability, that you can rely on it, that it will not just fail, it will not damage all your system. It's just very stable. So this is one thing that we really focus on. The other thing is like be really not causing trouble. So being fast, not affecting the way the computer works. And of course, the thing that is pretty important is to be effective in what we do and to be proactive in the detection. So this we didn't need to change this for years. Basically, these are priorities or values, and it's still like these are the still key factors for us, and we can prove track record, which is hardly matched, like regarding our efficiency for many years until now. So that's probably it.
It's not to miss the usability of the products, not that the client not, and also the market is different, I think, because some years ago probably we thought that the computer would be more powerful, but with these tablet PCs, netbooks, we see that the industry just is not just you have more power and more memory. No, you have different kinds of devices, and it's not on the other thing.
Yes.
8 years later, we see that we have more power every year, and it's not the case right now.
That's true, but on the other hand, like a small device you can have in your hand is right now more powerful than
than 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So there's a lot of power in even if the small devices right now, and I don't know, 5 gigabytes of memory, like
Yes.
30 and so on. So it's pretty amazing, right?
No, yes, this is amazing. Yes. The storage capacity, for example, no, we are recording you with 16 gigabytes memory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's it. And the cloud computing is really popular, but it's like, of course, there are those big server plants that are used for cloud computing, but at the same time, they can hardly match, the combined capacity of all those small or bigger devices that are present at homes or in companies or anywhere. So it's probably a combination of the two that is really providing a lot of storage space and a lot of computation power.
Yes, but I don't know what's in the next years will be the SMB market, for example. Used to be you have 1, 2, 3 servers for your company and the computers, but I don't know if this movement to the cloud means that you really have the computers, but you don't have more the servers and all are in the cloud. Some people say that, but it changed a lot from the security perspective, because you install your ESET products on the server of your data center.
Yes.
But these data centers will be exist on the future or not? Some people said probably not.
Yeah, well, there will always, well, it's very hard to predict, but I don't think this is like a final solution to have everything in the cloud, because it's, as I say, it's the clouds can't match the power that currently exists in all the devices that are among the users, and even from the security point of view, it's very questionable. On one hand, it can be the security of a cloud cluster of servers can be managed by some highly skilled professionals. That is true. On the other hand, when you have a successful attack, all the users are potentially affected by that. So,
yes.
And one thing I'm really afraid of in this respect are those targeted attacks. So the attacks that are specially crafted against a particular vendor or situation or factory or whatever, and it's virtually impossible to prevent these kind of attacks. Well, you can do it. You can have very secure environment. You can do a lot of things, but there are always some zero-day vulnerabilities, anything, and it just happens, and it's hard to prevent. So when you have a lot of important information in one place, that will necessarily become a very good target for, for all the cyber criminals. Right?
Yes. Nothing will be 100% secure.
Yes, yes.
Also, in the cloud, you have the best expertise, the best products. Also, you have a lot of information there. So,
yes.
a lot of Amazon suffered a lot of attacks with the cloud systems. No,
Exactly.
It was very well. Microsoft developed the 365 Office on the cloud, and probably. Yes, it's more interesting. You said a lot of time that there will be more attacks on Windows platform because they are more popular. So it's
Definitely, but right, exactly, and this is changing, right? So we see attacks on different platforms even now, like Android, Mac. Yeah.
Yes.
This is reality.
Well, Apple have right now a lot of offers on the cloud also, no? So
yes, sure.
It's interesting how the people are changing the way that they store the information that's in-house, but in another place. So
Yes, exactly.
Here we have a lot of problems with the habeas data law that don't allow some companies to have the information outside the country. So
yes. And it's a big problem for everybody, like for IT companies, because right now you can have, those cloud infrastructures that can typically be distributed all around the world, and then if you have this kind of legislation, like you cannot put information outside of country, well, it's not compatible with the current IT situation, like everything is global.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about these major trends that we are seeing in the market, that HP try to be like an IBM, they try to sell the PSG division, Intel buys McAfee, so we are in the middle of battle and companies like you are trying to to survive with. I talk to you or other managers of ESET. They don't have to be a public company, for example, or something like that, no?
That's true. It's this is the situation. Like big companies, like probably those you mentioned. After many years, after being very successful, after being very big, now the situation is changing, and for them it's probably more difficult to adapt. So they are looking for ways. They see that probably PC market is there's not such a bright future for it, and so they logically are trying to become more successful in other areas, like creating software, providing services, and so on. So it's logical for them. And from my point of view, being flexible is probably the key right now for anyone, and of course for ESET as well. Like for us, it would be like the easiest thing would be just to be happy what we did in the past and just to keep on doing the same thing, but we cannot survive by this. So simply we need to follow the trends. We cannot have like a very precise strategy for 5 years. We have to simply see what is happening in the world and react quickly, and react faster than the others. This way we can be successful.
We saw that, for example, Kaspersky have a lot of money. Well, they have an investment from a venture capital, I don't remember.
Yes.
And when I speak with Avicii Kaspersky, they figure it out that in some way he tried to be a public company in the future. No, well, he probably tried to do that, but in the case of you. It's not on the roadmap, or with something that in the board of the directors in some way you discuss.
When we talk, whether we discuss it from time to time, yes, but it's not something like a strategy for us or priority for us. I would say like we have ideas about how we can invest money, but in the history of ESET we were trying to base our future growth on the money we simply are able to earn ourselves, more like getting money from venture capital, whatever else. So
you all do all your business with your proper money. It's not fun.
Exactly.
It's not so easy.
It's not easy, exactly as you say. But it gives us very big stability, and that's important. And it's like we prefer long-term success instead of something like short-term sudden growth. So this was a strategy we had in the past, and so far we have no reason to change that. And the owners of the company, even though they left the managing positions, most of them are still active in board of directors, and happy to see the company growing and want to be a part of that. Simply, what would they do if they just sell the company, right?
Well, all right. My final question is, we have some person here that are with you, that is Nacho, that is very popular here.
Yeah, Nacho, sure.
And we are how is working with you, right?
It's really good, really great. It was, we were, there were many changes in the management at the beginning of the year. Like almost the whole top management was changed. And position of sales and marketing director was one of the most difficult to select, and I think we did a good decision, and it's really great.
well, thank you. I expect to see you again here.
Thank you.
Right.